Well, what a rather boring second last game of the season against Manchester United that was. West Ham nil, Manchester United nil. Nothing to play for both teams. Really just a boring, average Premier League, nothing to fight for game. Welcome back to Irons United's YouTube channel. As I've just said, you have just witnessed West Ham gain a point against Manchester United. We've moved up one place in the league. We've got 39 points. With a victory and results going against us, we can actually move up to 10th place. Who would have thought it? On the day of a 2-year anniversary from our farewell Boleyn game against Manchester United. What a difference in games they were. What a difference in games. Great day today, been reminiscing on social media about that amazing last ever game at Upton Park. And we'll never forget that occasion, but I think we can possibly put this game tonight in the back burner and forget about it for a long time. Anyway, I'm joined by Richard all the way from Joburg and of course my dad Jim. So hope you are all well. Make sure you start getting the comments in, liking it, etc. Only a short review, nothing major. Anyway, straight over to you, Richard. Listen, we had nothing to play for. We were safe. They have nothing to play for. They're safe. How did you think we lined up with our team selection?
A very, very dull game, first of all. It's a point against Man United. You know what? I'll take it. Although I would have liked us to have really gone full throttle against them because, as you said, we had nothing to lose. We were safe. So this was really a game where we could express ourselves. Moyes is stuck with the same side that played against Leicester, which was fair enough. I don't think he needed to change much. We were very, very good away from home. Got the 2-0 win. But, yeah, I think credit to Moyes. He brought Carroll on and he gave him a fair crack at the whip. And you know, it just didn't really fall for us today. None of the crosses that we put in were very good, and yeah, it was just a dull game. Mourinho parked the bus. He wanted a point. He got his points. Moyes didn't lose against his old club, so I think both managers will be walking away fairly content with how the game went.
Yeah. I mean, we've gone into this game, as we all know, we're safe in the Premier League. Manchester United wanted a point to secure second place. They've got that point. West Ham are moving slowly and creeping up that league. Do you think, I suppose I'll put this one to you, Dad, do you think the board at West Ham look at games like this and think the season's not done because the difference of jumping up 2 or 3 spaces can warrant £6, £7, £8 million into the bank account? Is that a consideration to the board?
Yes, I think they just want the money, as much money as they can muster up, whichever way they do it. But just to re-emphasise what we've all said tonight, it was really just a boring game. Rich, what did you think? I thought Man United at the beginning there, they had a few good shots and they were quite going forward quite a bit, and I thought Adrian did a couple of great saves there. What did you think of that?
It felt a little bit like target practice, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. They had about a 5-minute spell in the first half where they got 2 or 3 decent shots away, and Adrian made some very good saves. Credit to him because few people were calling for Hart to come back, but not for me. I thought Adrian did really well, especially for the Luke Shaw shot. Getting a very telling foot onto the shot.
Yeah, brilliant.
That diverted it onto the post, and yeah, he kept us in the game first half. But
yeah, he did.
Other than that, I don't think United offered much. I was very surprised they didn't start with Rashford and Martial. Perhaps I just thought going with Lingard and Sanchez, they didn't really have much up top, and you could just see he genuinely parked the bus and was just happy for a point, and he got what he wanted.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I suppose it's a shame. It's a shame for the Premier League when it's not really. I mean, all the excitement of the year is, in theory, it's done. We know who's going down, unless dramatic circumstances happen with Swansea's turnaround against Southampton, etc. So the season's pretty much done for most of the leagues. Everyone's going into Sunday with no excitement. I suppose the fans are going to game. There's better atmosphere because we feel safe, and now there's more apprehension about what's actually going to happen in the summer. We'll come back to the game ever so slightly, but we were having a brief discussion. Dad, simple as, would you keep David Moyes?
Well, he came in to do a job, and he's done the job. Very similar to what Allardyce did. Yeah. I don't know. I think we're just going to have mixed opinions. You know, the fans are going to have mixed opinions on it. You can't blame him for if he wants to stay. He did what he came in to do. He's been paid to do it, and that's it. I'd love to see a more expansive manager coming in. Yeah,
but I just think all West Ham fans, we moved into a very good squad, in my opinion. We just expect a lot more. And I think this season we just have to write off. We've got over the line, and that's good because going down this season would have been catastrophic. But we've got over the line. But now I think all West Ham fans genuinely want to see at least a little bit of the dreams that were sold to us come to fruition. You know, we've moved to a big stadium. We just want to see a little bit of ambition shown by the owners in the summer. Because you know what? We're selling out 60,000 seater stadiums, and for a team to be doing that, they can't be sitting in relegation dogfights every season. I don't think any West Ham fan will stand for that. So,
No.
I don't know. If the board back Moyes in the summer and give him funds, then give him a shot. Personally, I don't see how he could take us forward. I just can't. But if there's no one better that can come in, we'll have to stick by him and we'll have to support him. But he needs funds for sure because our recruitment's been poor in the past, and that's where we've really struggled.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I suppose it's a telling sign is if you're going to back your manager, you're going to back them at any stage in the season. I suppose that's a telling message in a way, is the fact that the board are saying we'll wait till the end of the season. Is that because the board are tapping into every single manager they possibly want, i.e. Rafa Benitez, Silva, managers from abroad? Are they speaking? Are they in negotiations with them? We don't know, but the fact that if you want to back your manager and you're safe now, why would you not just publicly speak out and just go, do you know what, we're going to back this lad? So for me, I think it's a thing they're working on in the background, maybe to see, they're testing the water to see what else is out there. I mean, on the day of anniversaries, it's also the day that West Ham won their third FA Cup against Arsenal. Lucky enough for you,
Yeah, I was there.
he was there. Funny story actually, while we're on live, is we were talking about it. Just briefly tell everyone where you were sitting.
I couldn't get a ticket for the game. The allocation was very poor, Rich. So I had to get a ticket from a tout, which I hated, and I was in the Arsenal end. And so, when you can imagine when I was ready to leap up into the air, I half leapt and had oranges pelted at me from the back.
I can imagine.
It was but I got out alive. That was the main thing.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But you got in and you witnessed something that it's only things that dreams are made of for myself and you, Rich, and for a lot of West Ham fans of a certain generation. It's something that we'd love to do. And like I said, it's a day of great memories from the last game ever, Upton Park, which is so heartbreaking to look back and think we've moved for what's currently happened, and then obviously with the FA Cup. But if we come back into the game ever so slightly, first half, nothing to write home for, nothing really fantastic from both sides. A couple of attempts. The good thing, which was a positive for me, and you mentioned it, was actually Arnautovic, and we all thought he actually played well. Rich, what was your thoughts on Arnautovic in the first half with a couple of his attempts? I'm nipping away because the phone's ringing.
No worries. Oni worked hard the whole game. He was very isolated first half. I think you can agree, Jim. And Carroll came on and they tried and they actually linked up fairly well. I can actually see how a partnership with them two could work. He had a few half chances that he'll be disappointed that he hasn't taken more advantage of, but that's just a sign of how confident he is and how great he's done this season, that he'll be a bit disappointed that he didn't put away some of the harder chances. But we can't really give him slack for that, because
he's got a magical skill, Rich, hasn't he? He's just got that one or two touches there which can get him around, and he's a big guy as well. I mean, he's taken over the mantle of which we were looking at Carroll to do. He's been like that up front, but with a little bit more skill. I think he's been brilliant all season. Do you think so, Rich? He's been one of our better players, hasn't he? By far, if not the best player by far, really.
Absolutely. He's been the one shining light in our season. And you just look at the way he went past the Man United defenders today, the way he went past Chris Smalling. It was like he wasn't even there.
Rich, on that, we had a comment come through to our group chat, and it was from one of our guys, Fandangos, I'm just going to name him and shame him. And he said something along the lines of Chris Smalling's a rubbish defender. And I wrote back saying, I think that's actually offensive to Arnautovic. Because in actual fact, I actually think Chris Smalling's alright.
No, he's been good.
I think he's a decent defender. I don't think I'm not saying he's world class top level, but I think he's decent enough. But the thing is, he comes up against a player with the skill set of Arnautovic, who can take on his day. He's got that ability to take on any form of defender, and he can knock the ball by him. And I think there was in a couple of attempts in the first half where Smalling didn't have no idea how to control his style of play. If anything, I see these next couple of games of and it's something I fear to say is the potential for next season. The potential for next season. And I think to myself, right, if we really back our side, keep the relevant players we need to keep, get the motivation in, get the fans on our side, what we can achieve, because we all know as fans what we can achieve. Richard, we've been going on all season with the negatives. There's not really been really positives and all the negatives. And I think you comment a lot on that. Let's keep the backbone, let's progress the side.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a fairly decent spine. Honestly, we need 3 or 4 decent signings to come in, and we could really be a force to be reckoned with. We're not far away from being a top 8 side that's playing in Europa League. We really aren't. You look at the teams that Burnley are playing in Europe next season. Yeah. I honestly don't see why we can't be playing in Europe next season. And it's all to do with recruitment. It's as simple as that. It's all to do with recruitment. And if we get it right in the summer, I mean, we can only dream of what we can do next season. You know, so
and I think
we've got enough there in the tank.
Your point, Rich, about the having 50,000 people there as well, and expecting 50,000 people. They are. I mean, I think we're entitled to expect that as well. Absolutely. Something to change, something to give us that bit more, like as Anthony said, a bit of passion. Perhaps that I've seen in years gone past. We need that back now. And we need something to change to get that.
Here's a good question for all you people on watching the channel, and something we put out on our social sites this week. What's the minimum acceptable summer you're willing to accept as a West Ham fan? A question I'm putting out to you all just now. Please put the comments below. The question is, what's the minimum you would accept as a West Ham fan this summer? So with regards to signings, money, manager, coaching, whatever, I want to know what the minimum is that you would accept. I know I am a board out fan. I am all about the board out, but we know they're not leaving, so therefore I'm willing to accept them for this one transfer window. And if they don't promise or fulfill their promises, I will be up front and centre protesting next year if I don't get what we have been promised for 3 seasons in a row. But I'm giving them the summer that I know they're going to be here for. So I'm not putting that question to you. I'm putting that question to you out there. Finally, because I know, Richard, you need to go, a couple of things in the second half. Nothing really happened apart from an incident with Mark Noble's passion showing through.
I think we all enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we needed something in the game to watch. It gave the commentators something to talk about. But we all know Pogba's capable. Richard, you said something beforehand about Pogba.
Yeah, I mean, he's got so much potential, and there's no doubting the talent that he possesses. But he's also got almost a nasty streak in it.
Yeah,
look at what he did in the first half. He kicked out second half. Sorry, he kicked out at Carroll. Was lucky to get away with that.
Yeah.
And then he's kicked out at Noble. Noble's gone past him, and he's absolutely kicked out at him. And Noble's reacted badly, which I can, to an extent, understand. Obviously, I'm not condoning what he's done. But in the heat of the moment, if someone kicks out at you, you're not going to be very chuffed. And Noble, being the East End lad he wasn't going to stand for that, and he got up. And luckily, he has been booked for it, so he might escape further punishment, because that's how the FA seem to work. Because he has grappled Pogba's face, which, if he wasn't booked, he might have been banned for that. But hopefully, he's escaped a ban.
I suppose the worrying thing is that, well, it's not even a worrying thing because we're safe now. But Carroll also grabbed Luke Shaw's face in the scuffle that happened after. But if anything, it gave us something to talk about. It was a little bit exciting at the end. Gary Neville's comments really annoyed me. It was very, very Manchester United, pro-Manchester United.
Well, he was always going to do that.
But he was always going to do that. But yeah, that's been our review of the game. Nothing fantastic, nothing to look forward to. Manchester United played it safe. West Ham didn't really kind of go out there. We've got one more game to go this Sunday. Big Irons United meet up. We're meeting up with most of the lads. Obviously, we're going to be Skyping you, Rich, during the day. So make sure you follow, like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. Get a comment says like the channel, and go from there. Anyway, you have watched our review, short and sweet. West Ham 0, Manchester United 0 at London Stadium. We'll be back this week and next week with some exciting content about reviews of the season, and we're going to be getting those videos out to you as soon as we possibly can. Anyway, cut long story short, I've been Anton, he's been my dad, that's been Richard, and we are West Ham Irons United. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
See ya now.